Yes, yeah, absolutely. I think that's a very good way of talking. Empowering people to make the choices that build a rich and meaningful life. So we're not just wanting to empower them to do anything. We're not wanting to empower them to go out and torture people, and we're wanting to empower them very specifically to build a rich and meaningful life. ACT gives people the freedom to choose. It gives them, we don't have unlimited choice, that's unrealistic, but we have more choice than we often realize. And what happens is that many of us go onto automatic pilot. We're not really consciously aware of our choices, or we're so kind of pushed around by our thoughts and feelings that we become rigid and inflexible, and we don't realize there are other options. So ACT empowers people. There's more choices here. ACT uses the language of choice a lot, which is pretty much the same language as freedom. The freedom to choose. One of my favorite quotes is from Viktor Frankl. He was a Jewish psychiatrist who was interned in Auschwitz concentration camp in the Second World War, and he wrote a lot of books about that experience. But his most famous book in the English language is called Man's Search for Meaning, and there's a quote from that book that I love. Frankl writes. And it's a very interesting book because it's all about his experiences in Auschwitz concentration camp. And he documents that even in a concentration camp in the midst of the Nazi war machine, people still have choices. So he documents Nazi guards that at times choose to act with kindness and compassion to Jewish prisoners. And he documents Jewish prisoners that at times act with hostility and sadism towards their fellow Jews. And so this quote is from Man's Search for Meaning. Frankl writes, "The last of human freedoms, to choose your attitude under any set of circumstances." And so I love that, so I think that's really what ACT enables you to do. It enables you to choose your attitude under a broad range of circumstances. Because it's easy to choose your attitude when circumstances are favorable, isn't it? When life is giving you what you want and everything's going your way, very easy. But when life is really difficult, when circumstances are really hard, like when you're in a refugee camp in Syria or Uganda, then it's very hard to choose your attitude. For our World Health Organization protocol, this was a big part of the protocol. It was like, okay, you're in a refugee camp, you're not going to get out anytime soon. You might be here for months or years, but you've still got choices. Do you stay in your tent or do you come out of your tent? When you come out of your tent, are you friendly to the person in the tent next door, or are you hostile and aggressive? Do you join in with the community singing and prayer, or do you stay by yourself? When you're in your tent, do you hide in the corner and ignore the other people in your tent? Or do you socialize, and are you friendly with the people in your tent? When the person in the tent next door is really going through a hard time and crying and sad, do you reach out and are you kind to them? Or do you ignore them and walk away? So there's always choices available. And I think this is what ACT does. It gives people a lot more choice, which, as you say, is empowerment, And of course, the technical name for this is psychological flexibility.